Okay, so it's the day after the Misfits 12 card, and I'm just going to do hopefully quite an unfiltered thoughts, unfiltered review of the event. For me, this event had the highest highs but the lowest lows of any or of more recent Misfits events, because most of them have been, either really good, it's like the Prime card, mostly only a KSI card, or really disappointing. I really didn't enjoy like the tag team, Survivor tag team match, stuff like that. So this one started so strong. I enjoyed pretty much every single fight, but just that last fight, which I'll get to, I found so underwhelming, so disappointing, and just an overall such a stupid matchup. But we'll get to that one. So, starting off with, if I keep looking down, I got my notes. Starting off with Joey Knight versus Most Wanted. Bit of a mismatch, in my opinion, but I don't know much about these people. I didn't do a lot of research going into this. I wasn't sure if I was going to watch it, but I did end up watching it. But good fight. Definitely a lot of potential for Joey Knight going forward. I'm sure there's lots of matchups that he can do going forward at his weight class, so I think having someone at that weight class is really good. Most Wanted definitely should come back against a lesser opponent. I think he was definitely too inexperienced and he shouldn't have been matched up against him, but he wanted to prove himself, which is fair. But the knockout was good. It was, again, a bit of a mismatch. The kid tried his best, so respect to him, but yeah, again, a really good opener. DTG, Miles, rak-su. I expected it to go Miles' way just based on size, but that was a bit stupid of me, because I should have done it based on experience. DTG, obviously a lot more experience, and that showed. I just thought he wouldn't be able to get through. I thought Miles would be better than he was. But so DTG, really good. I'm not sure who he goes to in the future, because at that weight, heavyweight, I don't fancy him against Chase, Minicon, Tempo. He'd get stopped. So I don't know what's next for him. Miles would probably be best dropping a bit of weight, trying to go down one division and seeing what he can do. I guess it's cruiserweight, because I think he'd be decent there with his size, but wait and see. I'm not sure what's next for him. But again, very good knockout by DTG, and I think it was the right thing stopping it in the corner. Chase Demore, Minicon. So these are two people that personally I haven't really cared for. I thought both of them were not very good. And going into it, not very good. Chase has impressed me. He's improved so much since his original days, especially against Josh Bruckner. He's improved a lot, and I had him winning going into it. He fought a good fight. It was a bit dirty. It was a bit, lots of pushes, lots of falling over. Like the commentator said, that the most damage is probably done on the when he fell on top of Minicon, but still a good fight. He's got so much power. I think the rematch with Tempo is next, and I think unless Tempo has improved a lot, I think Chase might take it just based on just raw power, because his technique is still, like, his jabs are still pathetic, but the rest of his ability is there. So I think Chase Tempo is a good one to do. Ben Williams, Fez Batista. Again, didn't know much about either person going into this, but Ben Williams obviously looked like the better athlete, the better fighter, but Fez had a lot of heart. He stuck in there. I thought that he was going to quit, but he never did. A lot of people would have quit. A lot of people wouldn't be able to take the punches that he did. So lots of respect to Fez, lots of respect to Ben. I think there's a lot for Ben to do going forward, but again, really good. Went to the decision, but really good fight. So Fox the G versus Small Spartan J. What an absolute manic fight. I just didn't expect. So I didn't expect it to go that way. My thought was that I was really hoping Fox would take it, just for his story, just for, I think he'd be a good character in the Misfits lineup. I like Small Spartan J, but I think he's not He's not a pay-per-view fighter. He's not going to be a sell because he's not someone people can support. He's a good villain. He's a good bad guy. Whereas Fox the G has such a good story, and he is a character that Misfits, if done well, can build up and turn into a really big person in the Misfits scene. But given Misfits' history of destroying their best characters, Salt Puppy, I'll get on to Ed in a second, I will hope that they, the next fight I hope is a challenge, but I hope they give him time to build and not feed him to Dean straight away, because that would be bad. But still, best KO probably of Misfits. Best KO, it's in the top 3 best KOs of all time on Influencer Boxing. That was such an impressive fight, such an impressive KO. I think overall, just a really amazing, impressive fighter. I look forward to seeing what he has going forward. Tristan Ham knocked Logan Paul. Went exactly the way I thought it was going to go. Went exactly the way everyone thought it was going to go. I have no idea what people were smoking when they thought not Logan Paul was going to beat him. You could tell going into it. Again, really good character. Good character for Misfits, maybe, but I think he's more of a prelim kind of guy. I don't think he's definitely not a pay-per-view fighter, definitely not higher up the card. I thought this fight was a bit too high up the card, to be honest, but I understand they're trying to promote Tristan Ham. They're trying to make Tristan Ham one of the next biggest influencer boxers, and boy can he do it. That was a good fight, a good knockout. They should have ended it when not Logan Paul was pretty much dead on the ropes. They should have ended it there, but very good fighter. Again, I hope they take their time with him. I hope they try and build him rather than giving him straight to someone big, giving him to a King Kenny or something like that. I hope they build up to it. Just because they need to keep their fighters and they need to start building them up, having more events. Because if you keep I understand you want to put the best against the best, yes, but you need to build brands. You need to build characters. If you keep putting straight away the best against the best, then once the person loses, because someone has to lose, all of their clout, all of their fame is gone. Like, do people still rate Salt Puppy after his loss? Do people still rate King Kenny? Yes, but less. So I think they need to do the whole, if Tristan wins his next fight, then give him to a big person. Don't just jump from debut to big fight. Give him a co-main and say winner goes against whoever, whether it's Slim or whoever. But still, good fight. It was good to see BJ back on the scene. Yeah, good fight. Ashley Rak-su, OJ Rose, very even fight, clearly with a draw. Very even fight. Went about what I expected because they are so evenly matched, because they're both forward fighters. They're both really hard, really tough, really committed. So it went just about how I expected it was going to go. Not disappointed in the fight at all. For me, I prefer Rak-su as a character. I think he's going to do good on the scene. Prefer OJ Rose as a fighter. And I think if either of them was going to go up against Anthony Taylor, I'd rather OJ Rose against Anthony Taylor rather than Ashley Rak-su, because obviously Rak-su's already lost against him. But the draw, they'll run it back in an event or two. So yeah, wait and see what happens next with them. Elle Brooke versus AJ Bunker went exactly how I thought it was going to go. AJ was still good. She landed a good couple punches. She looked comfortable in there, but Elle Brooke, I think she was a weight bully at that weight. She even admitted it. She's just such a good fighter. It's going to be hard to find an opponent for her because she lost to Julie Parker as already. I think if they run that back, Julie's going to win it every single time. Maybe a Vampira fight against Elle Brooke might be the one to make. I would not put her up. Maybe put her up against Barbie, and then whoever wins that goes against Julie. Because I would expect Barbie to win that. So maybe that's the play. Elle Brooke versus Barbie, winner gets Julie in Brazil. And then the big one. Oh boy, Ed Matthews, mystery opponent. I am sick of this. I am absolutely sick of this. I have lost faith in Mams at this point. I do not understand how you can say, oh, it's a mystery opponent, it will blow your mind, no one's guessed it, oh, it's gonna shock the world, and then have it as the same mystery opponent. It's just so disappointing. It's so stupid. I thought the whole theatrics of Ginty coming out and then Swarms coming out and then Beta coming, that was just so stupid. It wasted time. Ed Matthews was there, warmed up, ready to go, and they spent 6 minutes bringing out 4 different fighters. It's so stupid. And then Pineda, what? Oh, it's so stupid. Right, so what's that going to achieve? Right, you've got this fighter that's come in and had a massive knockdown. His stock went to space. There was talks about him versus Deji, him versus Joe Weller, like so many fights for him. They built, and there was this character that they could do really well on, put him as a main event. He was a main event. You saw how I think it sold out, or at least it was very busy. You have this character you need to protect. Why feed him to a professional boxer? Now, granted, a professional boxer that isn't actually that good, but one that has proven he can fight. He's fought and won. Outside of a KSI fight, I'm pretty sure he's won every fight. You know, he can handle himself and he's getting better. Why risk losing your new potential, one of your new biggest stars? Why risk putting him against there? Because if he beats Pineda, what does that prove? Nothing. KSI beats him. He's not the best out there. If you lose to Pineda, you're finished. You're finished. What's the point? Why risk it? And then he's gone in. His strategy was obviously take him out in the first 3 minutes, go home for a pint. He didn't. After that first round, he realised, I'm not taking this guy down. And then he got knocked down and then knocked out. And I think you could see in his face in that second round, he had that flurry. After that, he was finished. He was not. His coaches did an awful job training him, because obviously they thought whoever is going to walk into it, blitz him in a minute, walk out. They didn't train him, they didn't prepare him to have a backup. There was no contingency. It was all forward. If you fail, fuck. That was what happened. And he's lost. And now all those main events that he could have had against Deji, against Joe, well, all those have gone, because he's not going to want to fight. He's not going to want to fight a lesser person. He's not going to go for a journeyman. He's not going to go for a B-Dave or anything like that. He wants to be main event. He wants to be he wants to, go up against a big person because of his ego. But no one's going to want to see him fight someone else after he's lost like that. Like, is there stock in a fight against Deji now? Maybe just because he still has that punching power, but probably not. Like, what? It's just, it's so annoying. And just to go back on the mystery opponent thing, I understand that, if they said, oh, Ed Matthews versus Pineda, they'd get a lot of slack online and maybe people wouldn't watch it. But if you're going to do a gimmick, if you're going to do a mystery opponent, don't use the same person every time. And especially, don't go and lie to your fans and say, no one's guessed it, it's going to blow your mind. Like, I understand you're trying to sell a fight. I understand that's part of it. But maybe try and set expectations and be like, also, they said it's someone that used to be a heavyweight. I know what they're doing. They're like trying to throw people off. But rather than go into it and lie and disappoint people, go into it and say it's a fighter you've seen before. It's going to be a matchup. No one, like, Ed's not gonna know until you see him or something like that. Don't say you'll never know who it is. You'll never be able to guess who it is. Going to shock the world. Like, don't say that. It's so, that for me. I wish I recorded my reaction. I was so disappointed in just the whole fight. I was like, this is stupid, because if he wins, he achieves nothing. If he loses it all. It's stupid. So to recap, as I said, it's the highest highs and the lowest lows. What was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 knockouts. Is 6 knockouts and 3 decisions. Is an amazing card. Lots of people, lots of fighters that will go on, that people want to see fight again. Ben Williams, want to see him fight again. Fox G, want to see him fight again. Tristan Ham fight, like, so many people. Joey Knight, everyone, so many people. They've built people because they're running out of fighters. They're running out of fighters, and now they're trying to build these people up. So it was a good event, but they just didn't stick the landing for me. That was a very disappointing main event. That would have been a very disappointing fight anywhere on the card, but especially in the main event. I'm sick of the mystery opponents. Next time if they do it, I'm sick of it because, yeah, I'm just sick of it. I'm just to end on this, right? So the reason I'm so frustrated about it is, what do you do with a Pineda now? You know, you've put him in the main event and he's won. You know, with people like that, when you win a main event, you then line him up to someone big, right? So, but what are you going to do with a Pineda? Who is he going to fight next? Because again, you can't have him fighting someone for a belt because he's a professional fighter. But you can't put him against another professional fighter because no one's going to care. The professional fighters that we already have in the scene that people do like an Idris Virgo, is too heavy. They'll never fight. So what are you going to do? Keep putting him against influencers and keep letting him beat them? Or if someone does beat him, it's always going to be compared back to the KSI fight. And unless you demolish him in the way KSI does, it will just be like, oh, you beat Pineda. He's a joke. It's just, I just don't see the point of him. I hope that they find something to do with him, or, you know, I just think it's a joke. I hope we don't see the last. I hope we see Ed Matthews again, because he is a good villain, he is a good fighter, and he is an exciting person to watch. But he says he'll fight again. Whether he will, I don't know. But yeah, if Ed Matthews was against anyone else, you know, give him a like the room with the Ginty or the B Dave, feed him to anyone else, I would have been fine with it, right? Because, you know, he goes in, hopefully he gets a knockout, builds his stock. If that was the case, I would rate this card like an 8 or 9 out of 10. Brilliant card. But because they flopped that final fight, I don't know. For me, it's dropped down to like a 7, because it had such high points, but you have to stick that landing. If your selling point is this main event and the main event stinks, then it kind of brings down the whole event. Like, looking at the other fights, which fights I think was better? El Brook fight, better. Fox G fight, better. Ben Williams fight, better. Like, so many of those fights would have been a better main event. If it was up to me, I would have probably flipped it, put El Brook as the main event, Ed Matthews as the co-main. But yeah, that's my review. That's my little rant over. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you agree with me, disagree with me, and let's hope the next main event isn't as awful. So yeah, thanks for watching.